All right, guys, it is time for the tradition like no other. It is the Masters in Augusta, Georgia, at Augusta National. Second week in April every year, except for, that year about with the whole COVID thing where we did it in November. But we're going to have the more traditional setup here for the Masters in 2022. And guess what? Tiger Woods will be teeing it up. So whenever Tiger steps foot on those hallowed grounds, it's always going to be a treat. Hopefully, we'll see if he can make it to the weekend and maybe a little bit of excitement. You DFS players, I know you're probably struggling like I am. What am I going to do about Tiger? Is he going to be overvalued, undervalued? In the high stakes stuff that I play, he's probably going to be undervalued. I don't think a lot of the high stakes guys are playing him, but he might be a little overvalued in the large GPPs. Something I'm struggling with, and I'm going to have to work on for the rest of today and tonight and figure out where I'm going to be. I'm going to spend a little bit of the money I made last night on NBA within a half point. Came third in the big one in NBA. Half point away from second. Would have been 125,000 as opposed to the 70,000 that third place was. And just a little bit short of the $1 million first place prize. So I've never been more upset to win 70 grand. We had Anthony Davis get pulled in that game late as they were getting blown out. That's where I needed my half point from. But not going to complain. Hopefully I could take that, parlay it into a milli here with the golf in DFS and win some of my bets. But let me talk about the Calcutta style pools, because I want to go over some different pools with you guys and maybe give you guys some ideas on pools that you can run with your friends, or if you are in a pool like this or similar to it, maybe I can give you some tips and advice on how to handle it. Now, Calcutta style pool, what that means is you bid on each player, and the highest bidder, like in an auction, wins that player. So it's a bid just like you'd be bidding in an auction. I start at $5. Next guy says 10. I go to 15, so on and so forth. Highest bidder, when the gavel falls, they win that golfer. Now, how you get paid is based on the entire pot. You take that pot, let's say it's a $10,000 pot, and it gets divvied up. The winner in the pool I do gets about 45% of the pot. Second place gets about 20%. Third, 10%. Fourth place gets like 5%. Fifth place gets 3%. And then I pay 6 through 10, 1% each. Then we give 3% if you lead round 1, lead round 2, lead round 3. They each get 3%, whichever golfers can do that. And then the low round for the tournament also gets an additional 3%. That's just the numbers I've come up with. You can play with that and do it any which way you like. Now, some of the strategy here is, I know people like to go in. They go in. I hear this all the time. Hey, the Calcutta's tonight. Who do you like? I have no idea who I like, because it's really going to be based on the Calcutta. I do everything for value, so I don't know where the value is going to turn up until I get into the auction. Now, it's helpful if you know approximately where the pot is going to end up at the end. If you're doing this for the first time, it's going to be a lot more difficult to figure that out. So you're going to have to play it by ear, but I do have a suggestion for you guys on that. Now, we've been doing this pool for many years. I've got a fair idea of where the pot's going to lie, and I could also compare previous years to where we're at. So I know when we get to, let's say, the 10th golfer, the 20th golfer, where we were last time in previous years and where we are now, and I could sort of figure out approximately where the pot's going to be. So that's really important. You want to know where the pot's going to be so that you know what kind of odds you're getting on the golfer that you take. Now, figuring out the value and how much you should be spending on that golfer is really dependent on how you break up the percentages and how the payouts are paid out. But here's the real easy way to do it. Categorize everybody in a group. And by the way, on these, we don't auction off every single golfer. What we'll do is auction off maybe the top 60 golfers based on the odds and add in a field bet or a field option for everyone else. So if you don't, if you're not listed as one of the golfers that's going to be auctioned off, you get thrown into the field and the field gets bet on, and we bid on the field. I like to do it in order. So I like the weakest golfer being auctioned to go off first to the best. And again, I rank this by the odds, and I'll usually throw the field somewhere in about the 10th spot And depending on the tournament, Augusta, the field's going to be a little bit weaker than a larger tournament just because there's going to be more golfers in the U.S. Open than there are at Augusta. So just a couple of ideas what you might want to use. But now what I'll do is, if I don't have any idea what the pot's going to be, and even if I do, you could use this technique as well. You can now group by the odds, what the sportsbook odds are, group them together, and then I've got a handful of guys, maybe 10 guys that are in the 10,000 plus 10,000 to plus 15,000 or plus 10,000 to plus 12,500 range. And there's no reason for any of those golfers to get bid any higher or lower than the next guy in that grouping, right? So what you can do is just do a comparison, right? So if you're constantly getting the cheapest guy in your groups, that has to be value, right? So even if you don't do all the math to figure out exactly what you think a player or a golfer should be worth, and there are math formulas to do that. I'm not going to get into that now. The real simple way is, let's say you're in a group of 4, you've got 4 or 5 golfers, all about the same odds. The first one goes for 100. The next one goes for 90. And now you're sitting at the next one and the bidding is at 50. Well, you're at the bottom range here. Now, how high do you go? It's going to be up to you. But if you can get a nice price, maybe you get a $70, $75 price, which is going to be maybe the lowest of the 4 or 5 golfers in that category, that's all you could really hope for. That's how I generally play these things. When it comes to the top level golfers, I'll do a little bit more math and figure out their odds of winning the tournament and how much I think it's worth it for me to make that bet, right? So if you have a golfer who's 10 to 1 and the pot's going to be 10,000, and let's just say you're paying 50% to first place, right? So in order to get $5,000, the winner's going to get $5,000. In order to get $5,000 on a bet on a 10 to 1, right, I'd have to bet $500. $500 bet is going to get me 10 to 1. But because I'm winning money back if I come in second place or come in third place or fourth or fifth, I have to be spending more than $500 in order for it to make sense. Now, when I say make sense, the value of that golfer is definitely worth more than $500, assuming a $10,000 pot, because I'm making money even if he doesn't win. If I bet that strictly at a sports book, it's win or nothing. Here I've got chances to get money back even if that golfer does not win, right? So if he comes in the top 10, 6 through 10, I get 1% of the pot back. Okay, 1% of the pot is going to be $100. So now I net only lose $400. But if he happens to finish in, let's say, third place and I get 10% of the pot, that becomes $1,000 payout, and I've now doubled my money if I bid $500 if I won that golfer for $500, right? So you've got to play with it in that way. When you get down to the end, it's going to be a little bit clearer where the pot's going to be and how much you need to bid. So anyway, ask questions in comments and in Discord. I'd be happy to help you guys out. I know there's a bunch of one and done type of pools that are available. Guys are playing in. I'm in a one and done season long where you pick a golfer each and every week. For the majors, you have to pick 2 golfers. And I'm in a fantasy league. So we call it a fantasy league. It's a 12-man league. Every week you have to pick 7 golfers, 1 wild card who gets double points. And in the majors, you can only pick a guy for a major once, and they count as 2 picks, right? In both of these, really what you're trying to figure out is, 1, how many golfers do I need for these special tournaments? Usually we're going to count the 4 majors, right? Actually, my golf, my league counts the TPC Players Championship as a major, which I hate. But in that instance, you have 5. So if you're in a normal type of league where they're only counting the 4 majors, if you're in a majors type of a pool, well, how many golfers do you have to take? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? And then multiply that, of course, by 4. Now you know how many you need for the entirety of the season for the majors. Someone just hit me up in Discord today. They've got 5 golfers to take in each major, and it's going to be the winner. I assume they'll probably pay out the winner of the Masters and the U.S. Open and so on and so forth, and then there'll be a cumulative winner. But you only get to pick each golfer one time. So that person really has to pick the top 20 golfers in the world, or at least based on the odds. Now, the odds here in the Masters are going to be different than the U.S. Open, the Open, and the PGA Championship, of course, right? But we don't totally know how that's going to differ, because how guys are playing is going to change. So we don't exactly know who the top 20 is, but we have a pretty good idea who the top 12 to 15 guys are. So we know that's the core group that we're going to be dealing with in trying to figure out how many of these guys we're taking. Again, in the case where I'm in a pool where I have to take 2 of these guys, I've only got to pick the top 8. So I'm really looking at maybe the top 10 guys for any given pool. Now, my theory and the way I go about it for the Masters is the Masters, it's tough to miss the cut at the Masters. We only have about 90 golfers or so, right? So the cut is going to be a lot easier to make at the Masters. Therefore, I tend, if I'm looking at it from a macro picture where I have to pick golfers in all the majors, I'm going to tend to take the lower end of whatever the amount of total golfers you need for all the majors is in the Masters, right? So if I need 20 total golfers, I'm going to look towards the bottom, not all the way to the bottom maybe, but I'm going to start looking towards the bottom, because I could take a little bit more risk in the Masters, because these guys should mostly make the cut. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So in my league, I did not take, now my league is 12 person, so it's a little bit more chalky. I wound up taking Rahm as my wild card position. He gets double the points. But I looked further down. Guys like Cantlay, who I like quite a bit, and we'll talk about when we do the bets, Hovland, and went down to Henley. These are all guys that I'm going to be looking to bet on. But those are the guys I'm taking here, because you can't just be top heavy. You can't just take the 5 best guys or the 7 best guys in my case, or the 3 or the top 2, when you have to plan out for an entire season. So couple of style of pools. I'm in a whole bunch of other ones, but what I really want to get across to you guys though is use the lines, use the sportsbook lines. That's going to help you. I cannot tell. I'm in a large pool. They've got 4 categories, 4 groups, right? The best guys are in group A, then B, C, and D is the weakest groups, and you need to pick accommodate. It's 12 players, and there's like 3 from group A, 2 from group A, and 2 from B, and 3 from C, however it works. And I really just look at the odds. That's all I'm doing, and I've won quite a bit of money in that pool strictly playing the odds. So don't try to be smarter than you really need to be. Use the odds to your advantage. All right, now I know why a lot of you guys are watching this. You want to know who I'm picking. I'm going to give you guys a few picks, and then down in the article inside of the app will be the rest of my picks. But let's go over who I like, the bets I'm making, or at least a couple of them, and then you can read down below for the rest. All right, guys, now I talked about a few of these golfers already, and let's just go over some of them here. I'm going to give you a couple of the more likely ones that come in, shorter odds, and I'll give a couple of long shots, and then, like I said, go down below, take a look at all the golfers. I got quite a few that I'm going to play here. One other thing, how I play these is I always play everything I bet is to win a unit. If it's a unit or half unit or a unit and a half or 2 units, I always play to win that amount, right? This is going to go back into hedging, and I don't want to get into all that now. Go watch my video on hedging, but you'll see a lot of times with these big bets, these big odds, and you're going to get that on most futures. Certainly in golf, if you're playing someone who is 25 to 1 and you're playing them for 1 unit of risk, you're going to go broke really quickly, right? These bets are not likely to win. Each one of these bets is not very likely. That's why they're 20 to 1, 30 to 1, 40 to 1, so on. If you are going to be playing them for 1 unit of risk apiece, you're going to go broke really quickly. You play everything to win 1 unit. It takes a lot of stress off of you, right? So when I look at this, I have 11 bets. I believe I have 11 bets to win. I'm risking a total of 0.23 units. All right, I'm not going to lose any sleep if I lose 0.3 units. Now, granted, if I was risking a unit on each of these plays and I had 11 units at risk and one of these come in, I'm going to hit for a fortune. But that's not how you do it if you want to manage your money properly, okay? Let's start with the first one. Let me start with the guy I like to actually win, the guy I like the most. And you say, well, don't you always bet on who you like to win? Well, sure. But again, we're always betting on value. But this is the best. This is the guy I think has the best shot of all the guys I bet. And that's Cantlay at 2,500 on DraftKings. He's my top rated guy in the entire tournament. I've got a model that I've been running for the last few weeks, and he is my top rated guy. And we're getting a really nice price here at the plus 2,500. Birdie conversions, one of the best in the field, if not the, I think he is the best in the field at birdie conversions, which I like. It's a strong indicator. And then another stat that I look at is the distance to the hole on approach shots, basically after your tee shot distance to the hole. And he fares very well here. So he is my highest rated guy in the entire tournament. So I can't pass that up at 25, at plus 2,500. Playing really well so far early in the season. Let me give another guy who I like quite a bit. Victor Hovland, 2,200 on PointsBet, plus 2,200. He's actually my second choice. Now, he's not the second overall choice. My second best is Rahm, but Rahm's the favorite here, so we're going to try to fade the favorite. I like Justin Thomas as well, a little bit more than Hovland, but again, I'm going to try and fade those top two guys and look for some value elsewhere. So Hovland's where I'm going to find it. Again, monster with birdie conversions. Also, one of the best ball strikers, certainly one of the best iron players in the entire field. So I like Hovland. I think, listen, eventually he's going to win a major. Why not this one? So I do like Hovland here. I want to give you guys, let's go a couple of long shots. And like I said, you could read the article inside of the app and get all the plays. Here's an interesting one. Cam Young. I've got him super highly rated here. And again, he's a birdie machine. Here's the problem. He doesn't hit a lot of greens in regulation, which could become an issue at Augusta. You really want to hit these greens, especially if you're going to miss. You need to miss in the right spots because you're going to give yourself just some ridiculously hard up and downs if you don't. So he's going to have to be a little bit better, but we're getting such a ridiculous price, plus 14,000 on Fanduel. I'm going to take a shot. That's a 0.01 unit of risk. Now, the other thing I'm doing here is on guys like Cam Young is taking them also to finish in the top 5. So it's a little bit more I have to take out of my pocket for risk, but a guy like Young is plus 1,800 on FanDuel. That's going to be 0.06 units of risk. If I'm $100 better, I'm risking 6 units here on Cam Young to finish in the top 5. I'll give you another guy. Let me give you another one of the long shots here that I like, and that's Seamus Power. Where do I have Power here? I've actually got him rated slightly better, actually a decent amount better than Cam Young. Now, you're getting slightly less on the odds. You're getting 13,000 on FanDuel, but Power I have, I tend to be over the market Power in DFS. I like his game. He's playing really well here early in the season, and he's very steady throughout all the stats that I really look at. His greens in regulation, though, phenomenal. Really, really, really good. He can pick it up a little bit on the birdie conversion, so we're going to need a little bit better putting from him, but he's one of the most steady guys in all the stats that I look at across the board. So I really like Power here as a long shot play, and again, you could throw him in as a top 5 play at plus 1,800 also on FanDuel. So you're getting a little bit more value actually on the top 5 play for Power. Again, down below, I got a few more plays for you guys, actually a bunch more plays for you guys. And then in the Discord, we're going to be talking about the Masters. We've got a whole room dedicated to the Masters. We'll be talking about it all weekend, making bets. We'll probably have some 3-ball bets and some head-to-head matchup bets, all sorts of stuff like that. So be on the lookout. Get the Sharp app, then get the Discord, follow the steps, join our community. We appreciate you guys. And of course, like, subscribe to these videos and share them with your friends, and we'll keep making more for you guys. Also, if you haven't checked out the top props inside the app, crushing it. It's all prop bets on the NBA. And check that out as well inside the app. Everything's free. Download the app today. Good luck with the Masters. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Chat me up. Hit me with some comments down below. Good luck.